Hello, my loves, and welcome to another episode of the Wanderlust Wealth Show. I'm so happy you're here today, and I am going to be talking about a very exciting topic, especially for anyone who either has a rental property right now or is looking to get a rental property. These are some tips, tricks, tactics to stay booked, increase revenue, and stay booked throughout the slow season. Because if there's something I know how to do is make sure that my properties are booked the entire time. If you see a lot of like my properties in comparison to other properties in the market, I generally trend at least 30 to 40% more occupied than a lot of other properties, just an FYI. But it's so funny. I actually had an accountability call with one of my close friends. We just like have a call every Monday and chit chat about business and life and everything to make sure that we're on track to hitting our goals. But it's so funny because I gave her some tips because one of her properties just wasn't performing as she thought it would. It wasn't getting booked as much. So I kind of just did a review of her listing and gave her a few tips. She went in and implemented those. And literally this is a few hours later. Like we have this call at 9 a.m. It's 3 p.m. right now. She goes, "Oh my gosh, your pricing and photo strategy worked too well. I just got another reservation for tonight, but the cleaners didn't even clean because they thought it wasn't booked." And then she messaged me earlier today that she'd gotten another booking. So yeah, these are some tactics that you can use in order to actually stay booked. Because money is made in the slow season, y'all. Like there's a lot more money that's made in the high season, but to really hit those numbers, you also have to stay booked throughout the slow season. And so I have 5 things that you need to look at, 5 tips that you need to go in and review in order to make sure that you are maximizing your rental property. Now, the first thing that I tell everyone to go ahead and look at whenever I'm doing design consultations with people, the first thing I go and do is I look at your amenities. Do you have all of the amenities required in order to just be at a level playing field with the other competitors in your market, right? So for example, I'm in Denver, Colorado, right? All of the top performing properties have hot tubs, straight up. Doesn't matter what kind of hot tub, but every single top performing property has a hot tub. If you don't have a hot tub, you're automatically disqualified. You are not on the same playing field as these other properties that are getting booked consistently, right? Because they have the amenities that people are looking for in those slow seasons. Now, not all amenities are something big like a hot tub. It could be something small as an espresso machine or an outdoor seating area or a fire pit. Those are things that you're going to be looking at in order to make sure that your property stays booked, okay? And if you didn't know, when you actually go into Airbnb, right, there's a list of amenities that they give you. Everything down from cooking utensils, irons, to big things like a hot tub or a golf putting course. Also, if you didn't know, you can actually get a hot tub off of Wayfair for like $4,000 or $5,000. I have a Wayfair hot tub at one of our properties and actually got it fully financed, like completely financed. We pay, I think, $300 a month on it, and that is it. And, the cash flow from the property covers that payment. And it's a 5-year loan, essentially, that you can get on the hot tub, and it pays for itself. And we stay booked, like that property in the winter, which is our slow season, we're still 70% occupied, whereas other properties in the market that don't have those amenities, they're at like 30 to 40%. So trust me, it's worth it. Okay, y'all, do I have something exciting for you? Now, I just came out with a brand new free training on exactly how you can get started investing in real estate within the next 3 months. Because if you're someone who wants more freedom in your life, the ability to travel the world and do the things that you actually want to do in life, you're going to want to listen up. Trust me. Now, this training is freaking awesome. I literally go in and spill the tea on the number one strategy that is working right now, like literally today in today's market. And I go over how to look at deals and make sure that they actually cash flow and how to set your properties up so that you can run them from anywhere in the world. Like I literally have managed my properties from over 6 different time zones. So if you are stuck in analysis paralysis, you don't know where to start when it comes to real estate investing, but you know that it's something that you want to do in the future, this training is going to be for you. So to check it out, click the link in the show notes or DM me the word hack, like HACK on Instagram, and I will send you the link. Now let's dive back into the show. Okay, the second thing that you're going to want to look at is the design of the property, okay? Now, we are not doing generic designs anymore. We do not want our properties to look exactly like every single other property out there on the market. We want our properties to stand out. We want to be able to stop the scroll. I always say this, but your listing, right? Your listing for your property, this doesn't matter if it's a short-term rental, a long-term rental, or a mid-term rental, is your dating profile for your property, right? So think about this. Whenever you are on a dating app or something, right? And you want to put your best foot forward. You want to have the best pictures, and maybe you're going to include some witty comments and make it super inviting, what you're putting in your description. You want to have that exact same mentality whenever you're actually designing your short-term rental. And you really want to think of a specific avatar that you are catering towards, right? Because, for example, you can have Joe and Jill here, right, who are looking for a couple's retreat in the middle of nowhere to get out of the city. What you're going to put in that property is going to be very different than what you're going to be putting in a property that's for a family of 12 who goes on their yearly vacation retreat, right? So take that into consideration when you're thinking about who am I actually designing this property for? Because what I want to happen when people look at your listing is they click on it and they're like, oh my gosh, I literally have to stay here. This place was made for me. Okay. That is the feeling, the emotion that you want to evoke when people are booking your property. Because at the end of the day, design is literally all just marketing. And marketing is the backbone of your business, of your real estate properties, right? Because we're not just real estate investors here, we're actually entrepreneurs. We are business owners. Whenever we buy our first, second, third property. So design is crucial. And if your property is underperforming, you may want to take a little look-see and make sure that your property is designed appropriately. And if you do need extra design help, I actually do have an interior design business. Feel free to reach out to us on Instagram. It's Below Door Designs. You can reach out to us there. We would absolutely love to help. Now, the third thing that may be preventing you from staying booked throughout the slow seasons and increasing your revenue are your photos. Okay, so here's the thing. We go out, right, and we buy these amazing properties, right, for 200, 300, 400,000, maybe even $1 million, right? And then we're too cheap to invest money into getting them photographed. Like, y'all, excuse me, what are you doing? Photos for some properties are anywhere from $100 to $250, depending on the size of your property. Sometimes they may be a lot more than that. For example, I just photographed a very large property. It was, over 3,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, a lot of different spaces. That was $1,000 to get that property photographed. But the thing is like, I also know that I'm going to make that back with a 2-day booking, So you need to make sure that you are investing in these photos, because at the end of the day, us as humans, we are emotional creatures and we're visual creatures. And so in order to get booked, we need to stop the scroll, right? Because think about the number of times where you've just been scrolling on Airbnb trying to look for a place to stay, and it's all just kind of crappy properties that look exactly the same. And you're like, ugh, I just want one property that's really cute. And then you finally find one and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to stay there. That is how you want everyone to feel whenever they stop on your property. And here's the thing too. So if you didn't know, Airbnb and the algorithm actually takes into account pixel count on your photos, and they're going to push out properties that have a higher pixel count in their photos because they know that they have quality photos. So literally, if you want to be ranked higher, you need professional photos on there. And some fun extra things that you can do is you can include some lifestyle shots, some pictures where it shows the experience people will be having at your property, like maybe a couple of wine glasses or people like hanging out in the hot tub, different things like that, or just a little extra thing that you can add to stand out from the rest of the crowd. The fourth thing that will help you stay booked in the slow season is pricing. You cannot have, especially this is in particular if you're doing a short-term rental, you cannot have the same price for every single day of the week. Guys, you need to have dynamic pricing. The dynamic pricing tool that I love is Price Labs, but you need to have dynamic pricing. Anytime when you go and you're booking a flight and you look at it one day and it's one price, and then you look at it another day and it's a different price, this is because of dynamic pricing. Your place, your house that you've purchased now has a supply and demand to it, right? And depending on the day of the week, depending on how far out it's being booked, there is going to be a different demand versus supply, meaning that you can charge a different price. During a weekday, I'm charging a lot less than I am during the weekends. Whenever there's a big thing like a Taylor Swift concert happening, right, I'm gonna bump those prices up. But then here's the thing, is like in the slow season, right, there's less people coming to your properties. So you need to adjust your pricing accordingly. You're not gonna charge the exact same amount in the slow season that you are in the hot season. So treat your properties like a mini hotel, get dynamic pricing. And if you need a link for dynamic pricing, just DM me on Instagram at the Olivia Tati. I can actually send you my link, and I think it gives you like a free month of Price Labs to test it out. Now, the last tip, so the fifth tip that you can use to increase your rental income on your property is your listing management. Now, what do I mean by listing management? Basically, and this is in particular for Airbnb, is you need to be staying on top of your listing. So once a week, I actually go into my properties. I'll change photos around. I'll change the description a little bit. I'll change the title a little bit just to essentially shake up the algorithm. It reminds the algorithm that that property is there. And so these are small little tweaks that you can do to boost your property back to the top of the algorithm. And it's so funny, like literally go ahead and try it, especially if you already have a property, go ahead and try this. And I can assure you, you are going to get like a rush of bookings that day. And that's exactly what happened to my friend Melissa, where her property is beautiful, but her listing had just kind of gotten stagnant. So we went in, we adjusted the pricing a little bit. I gave her some tips in terms of what she needed to change in her listing. And there we go, 2 bookings right off the bat. Now, there is actually a tool that you can use to see where you're ranking in comparison to other listings in your market. It's called Rank Freeze. I'd highly recommend getting it, even if it's just for a month, just to see how you are trending in comparison to your market. But okay, that's it. Those are my 5 tips on how you can increase revenue from your rental properties and stay booked throughout the slow season. Try some of these. If they helped, let me know. DM me on Instagram or just like post it on your story and tag me so that I can see what you did and let me know if it actually worked. Okay? Well, that's it, fam. See ya. Thank you so much for listening to Wanderlust Wealth Show. Now, don't forget to follow the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you love this episode, it would literally mean the world to me if you shared this with a friend or a family member, or literally like anyone off of the street. Like right now, go ahead, share it so you don't forget, or post it on social media and make sure to tag me. I love seeing what you're listening in on and what you resonated with, and I'm just so freaking thankful for you. I'm so freaking excited for you. I love you. And don't forget, life really doesn't have to be hard.